I never did, and I never suffered for telling my true feelings. Then on the third day, they came in with the ropes and the manacles, and they said, now you will write your war crimes confession. Well, they must have figured that I was not going to be eager to do that. So I said, I can't do that. I haven't committed crimes, and I can't confess to crimes I haven't committed. So they tied me up again, put my hands in the manacles, tied me up, and I said, all right, I know what's coming. I said, what do I have to write? And I gave in. That against my personal motto, never give up and never give in. I gave in. Well, the confession was typed on a piece of paper, 4 little paragraphs, and I was to copy them in my own handwriting and sign them. And it was just galling to copy this confession. And the worst part was at the very end, I had to write a thank you. I thank the Vietnamese people for their lenient and humane treatment. Signed it. That's it. And after that, they left me alone the rest of the evening. And when it got dark, they came around and blindfolded me and led me out to a truck, and off we went to the main camp at the time we called the zoo. And I was put into a solitary room, and I'd be in that camp 3 years and 8 months and never go more than 100 yards in any direction. Okay, so I'm in a solitary cell, and nobody to talk to, no way to communicate, and really feeling low. I wasn't prepared for what had happened to me in the last 3 days. And of course, surviving the POW situation or anything in life, preparation is really key. And while there's no way I would prepare specifically to be a POW, the training that I got really did give me something to fall back on, and preparation to help me through that difficult time. And that was the training that we got was very good. For instance, when I was in the survival school and interrogation training, the school interrogator was coming off with a bunch of communist propaganda, and I smirked. And he stopped the training right there. He says, never smirk. If you smirk, it's an insult to them, and it'll go very badly for you. So when I was going through my torture sessions, I was really exhausted and feeling giddy. I wanted to laugh. Well, I bit my cheeks until they bled to keep from laughing. So here I am in this solitary cell. Somebody tried to tap on the wall to me, but I didn't understand it. I had seen this tap code while I was in the interrogation room, and I had seen it carved on the side of the table. And but I didn't have long to study it, and I got it wrong. So the tapping I was hearing was gibberish. It didn't make sense. After only a month of solitary, I was at interrogation, and the interrogator said, would you like to have a roommate? I said, yes, that would be nice. And he said, well, you must promise to obey the camp regulations. That is, no talking out loud, no singing or whistling, no exercising, and definitely no communicating with other POWs. I said, okay. And then in walked Mike Lane, my backseater, and we were marched off to a cell in a different building, and that began our time together in this two-man cell. I like to describe the cells to paint a picture. I do it with 5 Bs, and The cell was 7 by 9 feet and whitewashed on the inside so they could tell if you were doing anything on the walls. And the 5 Bs are the boards, the bricks, the bulb, the box, and the bucket. Well, our beds were like a crude door on sawhorses, just planks nailed together, and no mat or mattress. Hanging over the beds was a bare light bulb, and that was on 24/7. You might wonder, why didn't they turn the lights off during the daytime and not waste electricity? Well, it's because of the third B, the bricks. They bricked up all the windows so we couldn't see out. It was forbidden to see other POWs. And, of course, that made the cells very hot in the summertime. No ventilation and a clay tile roof, and it was like an oven in those things. They didn't care. We were there to be punished, so they weren't worried about our creature comforts. And then the fourth B was the box. We had a loudspeaker box up on the ceiling in every room, every cell. And that was for our daily ration of propaganda. Voice of Vietnam in the morning and evening, and locally produced propaganda from the interrogators. And they did this because, unlike Korea, where they had classes, they didn't want us to see each other and communicate. They wanted to keep us completely isolated, so they just piped the propaganda into the rooms, and the whole camp became a schoolroom. And the last B, of course, was the bucket. The rusty bucket in the corner was our toilet, and they let us out once a day to empty it. Well, as we settled into our daily life, I can describe that with B's also. Be no talking, be no reading, be no writing, be no exercising. And pretty harsh regimen of confinement. Well, our day began at 5 a.m. when they rang the gong. And the gong was not a round brass gong that they hit with a mallet. It was an empty 85mm shell casing hung from a tree, and the guard would beat on that with a wrench. It made a horrible noise and got you awake in a hurry. Well, by this time my back is really hurting and I'm ready to get up anyway. So we got up, and the first thing was to fold up the mosquito net. They gave us all a mosquito net, which is the one humane thing they did. The place was just humming with mosquitoes, and it would have been just terrible as well as unhealthy to have to deal with the mosquitoes. As it was, we went around with bites all over us anyway. So we folded